Aloha offline sharks. How we doing, everybody? Welcome to the Aloha Friday Marketing Jam Session. I'm one of your co-hosts, Tom Gaddis. Our other co-host, the traveling Nick Ponte. How's it going, Nick? I had to think of something fast there to say.
Yeah. I'm just traveling all the time.
Yeah, just traveling. Well, awesome. Welcome to the Friday Jam Session. We have a great show lined up for you guys. We're actually going to talk about something that is just right around the corner, the holidays, and how to stay sane during the holidays with your business and get more done, right? So the holidays, it can be kind of tricky when you're launching, starting, growing a business. We've definitely had our holiday experiences, haven't we, Nick?
Man, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it.
It's only taken us like, what is this, our 4th or 5th year of offline show? It's only taken us 5 years to finally start planning ahead. Like, remember those first years we were like, oh my God, it's the holidays.
Yeah. Yep. Everything was just, done by sheer will and brute force and a lot of unorganization, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about all that. You guys can ask us questions. We'll talk about some recommendations and things you might want to do to get the most out of your holidays business-wise. And that's really the goal, right? Like when the holidays come around, we want to be able to spend time with our family. We want to enjoy the holidays. We don't want to miss them by any stretch of the imagination, but we also want to keep moving forward with our business. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to cue up the intro. And we'll be back here in a few minutes to get this live show on the road.
Ready for the fastest 60 minutes of strategies and tactics to build your remote business from anywhere in the world? It's now time. The moment you've been waiting for. After 167 agonizing hours, they've returned. Now, back for a brand new Sharks Live show. It's your hosts, the Offline Sharks, Tom Gaddis and Nick Ponte.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Oh, listen to that crowd out there. Awesome crowd.
Tom, I wanted to say your office is looking real good. The lighting.
Oh, yeah.
You're looking real tan, looking real crisp, Baywatch style. The club in the back.
I took your suggestion. I zoomed in a little.
Yeah, you can tell. It looks good.
Yeah.
Looks really good.
What I couldn't figure out, though, is like I tried doing it with the lens, but like it just turns and didn't do anything. Like I hit menu and found zoom, and then I could do it.
There's a second ring. There's a focus ring, and then there's a zoom ring. So there's two different ones.
I don't know.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It looks great,
I really like this setup. So, when I was in Maui, like I had a VersaDesk thing, right? Like it sat on my desk and lifted everything. But now I have like an actual Vari standing desk, which I freaking love. And then these lights are actually pretty nice. I got these Dazine lights. They're pretty good, but yeah, it's coming along. It's a much better setup. I mean, I was trying to make it work with the desk that's built in this office, but it wasn't happening.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the standing desk, as you know. Is anybody else on this call rocking a standing desk? Or you still doing the old seated desk? What do they say, Tom? That sitting is the new smoking?
Whoa, look, I almost tripped over my standing desk mat. I have a mat under my feet. Yeah. Well, I like having them both, right? Like I've still got the chair over here so I can sit down and like I don't like lower and like this is mainly like this is my video set, right? So
yeah. It's good to go in between. That is really what I like about the standing desk is like you stand for a while and then you can sit for a while, stand for a while. Maybe that's just somebody who has really bad ADD. Maybe that's just me, what I need to do. But I also find that it helps. It just helps to like re-energize when I like adjust a little bit. I don't know if that really makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I think it's definitely good for when you're doing like online meetings or online presentations or online like virtual sales appointments. I think it's much better to be standing because one, I think you just look better when you're standing than when you're, when you're sitting.
You're like this. You're like wiggling back and forth.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. When I'm standing up, I feel better about the way I look on camera. Like I feel like I look thinner. Like I don't know. It just feels better and more comfortable, and it's easier to get your energy up, right? And be like engaged.
It is. It's first of all, these comments are killing me. Dorn's saying it's hard to sleep at a standing desk. Very true, but you could sleep under it, right? Just hit the floor. It'll serve as a nice little shaded area for you. Cameron said that he's just trying to preserve his decision power. He doesn't want to choose between sitting and standing all day. Totally get that. Finite amount of energy. Circle of focus. Just pick one and stick with it. Yeah. But the other thing that you said, Tom, is that it's for me, presenting standing up is much more, you just have a lot more energy. You're like, it's a power stance, right? Power stance, standing up, presenting in the mic, kind of like a musician. So I feel that.
It definitely makes a difference. And of course I like to have things around to, make make you feel good. Little sayings on the wall, posters, things like that. You got all kinds of stuff like that around the office.
Yeah.
Little reminders, right? I found a new one. Hold on. I found this one the other day.
Any ideas what it is, anyone? Oh. Either write something worth reading or do something worth writing.
Benjamin Franklin.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I thought that was a good one. Okay, awesome. Well, let's talk about actually before we get into what we're going to talk about staying sane during the holidays and business during the holidays, because there's a couple of different approaches to that, right? We can talk about those. You guys can ask questions. First, we always like to celebrate shark successes. And you know what? We were chatting before and I didn't pull this up. So let me pull this up.
So is one of the approaches for staying sane in the holidays, is that like a hard eggnog approach, spiked cider approach?
Yeah.
Does that count?
For some people, yeah. For some people, eggnog, right? Like wine and booze. That'll get you through the holidays. Hold on. I got to pull this up and make some rearrangements here. But okay, we got some good shout outs this week. So I want to dive into those. If I can get these up here, I'm going to share my screen. Ooh, this is a different format today.
Frank the Tank.
Awesome. Hold on.
What's
Share
up,
screen.
Frank?
Hold on. I got to get this screen here. I will get this eventually. Okay, here we go. So every week we like to celebrate the wins from the week before in the Offline Sharks community. So these are sharks that have went out, taken action. They've closed some deals. They've generated some revenue. They've got some wins with moving their business forward. And so we celebrate them every week. Here's our list this week, which is really awesome to see. I mean, there's 9 sharks on here, which is great to see. So let's just get right to it. Let's start off with Michael Howard. So Michael sold an event website, $750. And he did a simple task of removal of a Rev slider banner on a page for $50.
Nice.
Congratulations, Michael. That's awesome.
Has anybody been seeing this out there in the trenches? A lot of websites getting hacked again. We had
really
two or three client sites get hacked in the last week or so. And one of them was actually, it was pretty tough to remove. Like sometimes you get lucky and the hack is an easy fix, right? But if your client is calling you and they're like, hey, my website got hacked, especially if you are the original website developer, you almost feel like somewhat responsible, even though you're not, right? These things could happen to any website. But yeah, we've been seeing a fair amount of people coincidentally getting all hacked in the last week or so. And some of them bigger ones, like I said, like a lot more difficult to remove all the malware and all that stuff. So if you have any websites of your own, make sure you have backups. This is simple reminder, make sure you have backups. stuff like that. Your client websites, they should have backups. They should have some base level security, just a minimum viable protection. And we have a training course out there. It's called Website Security Blueprint. For those of you that haven't seen that, that's a good one. You can actually offer it as a service to some of your customers, which I know a lot of you actually have, because when we did put that out there, it was very relevant, and a lot of people were at least implementing it for themselves. So at the least, you just get something set up to protect your own website, and you could offer it as a service. But yeah, that's something that we've been making a little side money on, is fixing these hacked websites right now.
Awesome. That's good to know. All right. Our second shout out goes to Jocelyn Wing. So Jocelyn decided to raise her fees for a client. She does monthly social and Google. What is it now? Google profile.
Yeah. Google.
She does a monthly, she does management for them, right? For $250. So she raised it from $250 to $1,000 a month. That's a pretty significant increase. And the client said yes. So congratulations, Jocelyn. Good job. Good job asking, right? I think a lot of people in that situation would be afraid to do that. Yeah. They'd be afraid they lose the client, right?
Well, it's good. I mean, so Jocelyn is in our Remote Millionaires Partnership Program. I had our weekly training call yesterday. I was speaking with her about a couple of things. Number one, yeah, raising your prices is always scary, but I also went through some raising my prices situations, and I was able to boost the revenue in the business, but also get rid of the customers that were kind of the most pain in the butt. So it's just really a matter of how you do it, but it can be a really, really powerful thing. You just need to be strategic about it. So that, and yeah, Jocelyn's been really, making some big moves in her business. She has a couple of VAs, like she has 3 VAs in her business. For anybody that needs a VA, you might want to reach out to Jocelyn. She has somebody that she's trying to help get some work that she's already kind of vetted in her business, but she doesn't want to, she's changing what she's doing, and she doesn't want to let this person go before the holiday is up. So if you're on this live right now and you need a VA, make sure to tag Jocelyn and reach out to her, because she could help you out. Yeah,
that's awesome. Cool. All right. Our next shark shout out goes to Ryan. Ryan excitedly shared his first win with the group, completed his very first mailer, and invested the profit in getting the agency growth machine program. Oh, Ryan, congratulations, man. That first mailer is a big one. I know that from personal experience. So way to go. I know it's a lot of, you put a lot of effort and things into getting that thing out. So excellent job. Next, we've got Robert. Robert closed 3 lead gen clients. So they're rank and rent sites. And he filled out 2. Holy cow, Robert was busy. 2 mailers for the entirety of next year. Wow. Awesome work, Robert. Awesome work. Yeah, let's get it done. Our good friend Scott closing out 2021 with a bang. He completed and mailed out postcards number 18, 19, and 20. So 20 mailers in 2021. Amazing job, Scott. Really, really awesome. Congratulations.
And awesome. Was it Robert that just joined, or that did a mailer, or got the mailer training?
He filled out 2 mailers.
Oh, okay. So we have, people crushing with the mailer. So if you're not doing the mailer, you might want to have a look at that.
Well, and we'll talk about that in a second too, because we'll talk about that. All right. So David Arnold, here's another one. David Arnold got his mailer card filled up, even though it took him 4 months. Hey, David, filled is filled. I have been there, and that's awesome. Cold calls plus offering a free directory listing. So he was giving them a free directory listing on his AGM site, then showing them the card. So congratulations, David. Awesome job. You hung in there, right? Like sometimes when it feels like it's not going to just hanging in there and getting it finished is the important part. So way to go, man. John C. Mark secured a new client, $160 a month, took over a website and local SEO. Last client at this rate will up his fees to $199 a month moving forward. And that's awesome work, John. That was something I was going to say about Jocelyn and raising the prices. Like I personally have found it very difficult to raise my prices for existing clients, right? But raising them for all the people coming on forward and then then going back to those clients and saying, hey, look, my new pricing is this. We're either going to need to go there or cancel, right? But at least I have supplemental revenue already. So I guess, what would you call that, Nick? Hedging my bet. I didn't want to risk just losing the client. So I would bring on new clients at the higher rate. And then once I got 2 or 3 of those, I'd go back to my existing clients and say, hey, I'm raising my prices. And then it would just go from there. But at least I knew if they left, it wasn't gonna hurt me that much. So
yeah, there's definitely a strategy behind it. It's kind of it's a little much for this video, but is anybody interested in a more in-depth training on how to raise your prices? That could be something that we do at some point. If you're interested in that, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Because, for example, I took the most recent one that I did. I took a solar company paying us, I think, around $2,500 to just $5,000 per month. Just pay us $5,000 a month. We'll manage the rest. And I'd be lying if I said that it wasn't scary, right? Because a $2,500 a month client is a great client. Like, you don't really want to lose that, right? And that's what you risk when you raise your prices. You potentially risk losing that client. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely let us know. We could put something together for you on just how we do it, but how we actually do it, right? How we're doing it, not how we read somewhere and we're repeating back to you. It's how we actually do it.
Yeah, good to point that out. All right, our next shout out goes to Jacqueline Heath. She sold an Etsy banner, $25, updated a website she built, integrated Avatu, $240, opened a Facebook shop, and taught a new client how to post products on their website at $125. All these in addition to her recurring clients paying $500 a month. So Jacqueline, as always, out there crushing it, moving forward, keeping the client flow going. So way to go. Awesome work.
Wow.
And then, go ahead, Nick.
I was just going to say, you could take that money and put it in Etsy stock, which is going astronomical right now. I don't know if you've seen that, but Etsy is a very nice buy. Well, I don't know about buy right now.
I'm surprised you said Etsy and not crypto. I suspected you were going to say crypto.
I try not to talk about crypto too much, especially here.
Oh, whoops. All right. My lips are sealed. Okay. All right. Our next shout out goes to Oliver. Oliver upsold an existing client, $115 a year for review pops. Client talked to 2 friends. One needs help on her e-commerce and the other needs a new website. He got another new client, 362 euros, which is $410 a year for a free 4-page website from selected templates. And they're paying the hosting and maintenance fee, right? Existing client upsold review pops, another 99 euros, $115 US dollars a year. Also, $395 for Google Business Optimization Schema on-page SEO pack, and a 3-month, 3-time 150 euros, which is $510 US off-page SEO pack, plus a, what is that? 1250 euro. Oh my gosh, the numbers. It's like bingo. $1,400 Google Business Profile Optimization and SEO pack. I mean, look at that. That is amazing. Just Oliver, and congratulations. It's awesome to see you crushing it.
He lives in the Netherlands. So for anybody that's thinking about making digital marketing work, especially with anything that we teach in another country, I always like to point that out when people are in other countries doing what we're doing and having success with it. It's a real thing.
Yeah. And just to keep you guys updated. So in those shout outs today, that was a combined total of $7,295 in business generated from our sharks. And then Scott didn't post his profits for the mailers, right? But he's mentioned previously in his posts that his profit for each mailer is $5,500, right? So What is that? 20 mailers at 50? I mean, whoo! That's pretty good, right? So unofficially about another 16,500 from last week. So, I mean, that's over 20,000. And if you just were to do that over the last 90 days from what we've shared here, it's a grand total of $399,403, not including the unofficial amount of 16,500. So Pretty good, Sharks. You guys are doing awesome out there. Keep up the amazing work. Big round of applause to all of you.
I feel like we should put that metric, like the month, maybe the monthly, or I don't know, some timeline, like in the cover.
You put it somewhere so you can watch it go up and up and up.
Like the cover of the Facebook group. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's just motivating, super motivating.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So let's talk a little bit about what we were going to talk about today, which is getting through the holidays, right? Staying sane during the holidays. I was just talking to a guy here last week. He runs the operations for an agency. They deal in the medical. They're in the medical niche, right? So he runs the operations for the agency, and they actually closed down in December because of the holidays. No dad jokes. No dad jokes, Dorn. Actually, wait, I have
Did
which
you see
one?
that one? I don't know if that's a dad joke or if that's real, but that's pretty funny.
Oh, that's pretty good. I did hear a good dad joke yesterday, Nick. It was, so these two whales are talking, and the one whale's like, "Arr, arr, arr," and the second whale's like, "Dude, shut up, you're drunk."
No dad jokes, Tom. It's a rule.
I thought that was good. Anyway,
what were you saying?
What was I saying?
We were talking about
they were talking about how they closed down during the holidays, right? And that's something that I think really what we wanted to kind of point out and bring up to everyone on the stream and in our community right now is, the holidays are coming up, right? And so this is a more challenging time to prospect than just about any other time of the year. And there's lots of reasons for that, right? Like people are busy with their holiday plans, their families. A lot of business owners are, it's coming to the end of their budget. Sometimes they're over budget. Like you'll find some businesses that are looking to spend money at the end of the year, right? To help their tax bill. But they're not as prominent as people that have already spent their budget, right? That are trying to conserve for the end of the year and do those kinds of things. So just getting in touch with people can be a challenge in finding a time that works. So there's a couple of tips I would give you about the holiday season. And in general, I mean, one is just a good tip all around. And the way that we kind of work our schedules and our businesses is we always start with the permanent things first and work our way out, right? So, you want to start with looking at like, okay, here's when the holidays are, right? I know I'm not going to be able to prospect on Christmas Day, do these types of things, right? Like build your schedule out in reverse, put in your family time, like the things that you're going to be doing, and then schedule in time to work on your business, right? I think for me, the big challenge for a long time was because I didn't schedule time in, I never got around to it. I just got too busy with the holidays. But scheduling time in to work on your business, it doesn't always mean you'll do it, but I think you have a better chance of doing it if you have it scheduled in. So just remember, if you're going to be prospecting around this time, your response rates are going to be lower. It's going to be harder to get people's attention. That doesn't mean what you're doing isn't working. On our Remote Millionaires coaching call a couple of weeks ago, somebody was telling me how they typically, like they send out prospecting emails around the holidays. I think it was Dorn. And even though they don't respond right away, sometimes like a few days after Christmas, they get responses because the business owner isn't working. They're at home. They're catching up on emails, right? And so sometimes there'll be responses that way. And just make sure anybody that you reach out to during this busy holiday time that you have some type of follow-up in place at the beginning of the year, because the beginning of the year we have found to be the hottest time to prospect and get traction and get going, right? It's the beginning of the year. Businesses want to start off strong. Budgets are renewed. They're ready to do something different this year from last year. So it can be a really good time to prospect. So now it can be a good time to get ready for that, right? Set some time aside to maybe do things that aren't directly revenue producing related, like they're not directly sales, but they're things that you need to get done and get in place so that you can hit the ground running in 2022. So now's the time to be thinking about all that stuff. And if you've been on the fence about doing a mailer at the beginning of the year is one of the best times, I think, to do that. So,
yeah, another thing that we do is that if you have any sort of a team, even if they're just contractors, maybe somebody that you work with pretty regularly, if you're a, freelancer, maybe you have like one web developer working for you, but you keep them pretty busy, or maybe you have multiple people working for you and you keep all of them pretty busy. A good thing that you might want to start getting in the habit of, and this is something they don't really teach you or you don't hear about when you decide to start your own business, is helping your team map out what's coming for the year ahead, or at least share your vision. Because when you work remotely and you don't sit in the same office, you don't have that interaction that you normally would, where you can just have that back and forth about, this is what we're working on, this is where we're going, this is what we're doing. They have questions, you have feedback. There's a lot that happens there when you work in the same office with somebody. So having worked with hundreds of people remotely, something that we like to do is just kind of recap, somewhere along the holidays. It doesn't have to be before or after. It can be entirely up to you. Personally, if you can set some time and put it on your schedule ahead of time, that's the best way to do it. Because if you don't, then when the new year rolls around, there's always so much hype at the beginning of the year and there's so much to do that will just get put off on the back burner. So if you can get out of the way before the new year and set the stage for your team on, how the last year went in terms of performance and client getting and everything that happened, what you liked, what you didn't like, and what you plan for this upcoming year, that's something that's going to be really helpful for you, especially when you're just growing your team and you're trying to get everybody on the same page. So one way that you can do that is you can have like an evaluation of people on your team, right? Like you can ask them to evaluate working with you, maybe some sort of a survey that will give you some good feedback, right? Those feedback loops are very important when you're building a team, and you have, even your customers, feedback loops from your customers is very important, because you don't really know what their experience is for them. And a lot of that information is very valuable for you to have a better interaction with your other customers, or if it's related to your team, how you can help them feel like they're being a part of something bigger, and how they can feel motivated and re-energized to be working with you. So, those are a couple things, or that's one thing that we do at the end of the year or the beginning of the year as well. And I encourage you guys to do that too. Get in the habit of, even if it's just a simple conversation, one day you have an hour-long conversation with your web developer that you've worked with a lot over the last year, and catch up. It's good.
Yeah. And Nick and I, we schedule time to just, like, we haven't yet. We need to do this, Nick. We schedule time to just, him and I get on a Zoom call or sit down in the same room and just talk about, like, where do we want to go in 2022? Right? Like, what do we want our business life to look like in the coming year? Like, how much do we want to be working? Right? That's actually a conversation we have. And I think it's important to think about that stuff. And if you don't have a business partner and it's just you want to set aside some time to sit down and reflect on this yourself, a couple of days, like, to really think about, what is it that you want, right? Like, what is it that I want? What is it that I'm looking to do? What type of, how do I see, like, what do I want going on? And then, what am I willing to do? Right? Like, is this a year that I'm willing to just, like, grind it out as much as I can because I want to make some good progress, or not? Right? So thinking about that stuff, making those plans, right, I think is very important. And look, the holidays, New Year's, it's always a time where people get super motivated, right? Everybody gets motivated. It remotivates me. I know it's one of those things. The thing, though, is, like, motivation is not going to sustain you the entire 365 days. It's just impossible. So it's a good time to use this motivation to get some of these things in place. Think about what you want to do, set your goals, figure out your why, like, make those big things. But what's more important than the motivating thing that's going on right now and that feeling is setting up your habits, your daily routines, your weekly routines, your monthly routines, so that whether you're motivated or not, you can finish that stuff. And whatever that means, right? Like, for instance, there's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I've been trying to do it on my own, and it just hasn't been working, right? Like, I get motivated, I set some goals, and then I don't follow through. So the thing I did recently to switch that out was I hired a coach. So I just hired a coach the other day to help me finish this thing, to hold me accountable, right? To give me the feedback I need and get this thing done. Now, I hope it works because it wasn't cheap, but it's worth it, right? It's an investment and it's worth it. And, you know, for me at this point and what I have going on, I think it was the right step, right? So, you know, whatever that looks like to you, whatever it is, you know, whatever you need to do to start putting those habits in place. If you know, yes, be motivated now. All that stuff is great, but let's put some things in place that'll help you keep that going even after the new year is over, the holidays are up, that you're ready to go. So take this time, get set, get solidified, you know, get ready to just hit the ground running in 2022. And, you know, if you don't have a morning routine, get a morning routine in place. Do it now so that it's already in place in the beginning of the year, right? Like, so start thinking about that stuff. And that's one of the ways that we kind of stay sane. I know it's one of the ways I stay sane during the holidays is having my routine, like knowing these are like my work days don't change a lot during the holidays, right? Like I build my life around those. So, you know, just having those things in place helps me to stay sane, like knowing that, okay, you know, at least I have my routine. I know what I'm doing, right? I've got my morning routine. I've got my workout schedule. Like continuing to do those things helps relieve the stress and take the pressure off for me.
Yeah, I was just thinking about last year around this time. Like, what did I do? What did I do to prepare myself for the year up ahead? And if you remember, we were actually talking about this earlier today. One of the things that I did was I also hired a coach. I hired a coach, and the most expensive program that I've ever joined. It was like over $10,000, right? Really expensive. And the reason that I did that, there were two reasons. Number one, it was at the end of the year. So continued education is huge, right? As an entrepreneur, one of the things that I think is so important for everybody to keep in the forefront is just to always be curious about what you're doing, you know, always be teachable, you know, always be willing to learn these new things as the market grows and innovates and new technology comes out, right? You don't ever want to be in the place where you're like, I know everything and nobody's ever going to teach me anything because I've got this down. I've got it all wired, right? That's just not a really good place to be in, especially if you have plans to do more, right? So I'm always looking for continued education. And at the end of the year, if you can reinvest some money back in your business, then obviously you're going to pay less taxes. So that was a big factor too, right? Like that money that I spent on that program, I didn't have to pay the IRS. I got more education. So that information, I can tell you, was actually one of the reasons that I started doubling down on the actual SOPs in my business, which we've been talking about for over a week now. Those standard operating procedures in my business, those came as a result of being a part of another coaching program, you know, having some mentorship from somebody that has a very systemized business to point out to me that was a missing piece. That was a missing piece to put those SOPs into place. And then I did. And now there's a lot of freedom that has come from that. And, you know, obviously now I can teach people how to do that. And people have been following in that in our Remote Millionaires Partnership Program. And they've been systemizing their business as well. So yeah, not only you have to do things to stay sane, Tom, and keep up with your routines and stuff like that. That also helps me quite a bit. But I also, as you know, I like to think far ahead and plan ahead. And one of those things for me last year was really, you know, thinking about how I can further my education in the year up ahead so I can meet some of those goals.
Yeah, I mean, that's an awesome point that you just made there. And I think especially true. Look, if you're watching this stream right now and you're not at that 6-figure a year mark, like the thing that you need to be investing in for yourself are skills, right? Like
100%.
skills are what are going to get you to 6 figures, right? So like, what skills do you have? And if you don't have any skills, get some, right? Like, for me, the skills that I've been working on learning for a long time have, been things like, building websites, SEO, copywriting, like all those things. Those are all skills, right? Like those are understanding direct marketing and how that works and all those things. Like those are skills. So, if skills are super important, I think, and this is a good time to start learning on those and investing in yourself to learn those types of things as well.
And there's a lot of skills that, you don't think that you're going to have to learn as you eventually start really growing. When most people get into this, like when I got into it, I was building a website, right? Like, and then I built another website. Really, I didn't think about all the things that I would need to learn to actually have a business, to take that side hustle to a business. I didn't think about like, I would have to learn how to hire people. I would have to learn how to teach people how to do things on my team, right? I would have to learn how to do the bookkeeping, or hire someone to do the bookkeeping, or, keep proper records and start an actual business and make it legal. And I mean, there's so many things, so many skills that you don't really think about when you're actually going to start a business. So I agree with you though, Tom, that if you're not at the 6-figure mark, you're just missing a skill that's going to take you there. It really is. It's a skill or a person. And it's, those are 2 things that you can easily learn or acquire if you just spend the time to do it. So, and then the other good thing about having skills like this, especially the skills that we have as like digital marketers, is that the skills that we learn how to do, they're pretty profitable. They can be very valuable. You can apply these skills to, yes, getting more customers, but it's pretty cool when you go to your Christmas parties or whatever, and you're talking to people about what you do. It doesn't really matter what anybody else does. Like they could be a doctor, they could be in real estate, they could be in home services. You can pretty much talk business with anybody because marketing is like applicable to everything, right? So when you talk to a real estate agent and they say, yeah, I'm a real estate agent and I do this, and this, and I mean, the conversation can quickly go into like, well, what do you guys do to get more, buyer leads or new customers, or how's your website look? I mean, it's so much easier to have conversations. So it's a good industry. I mean, it's a good industry for me, for sure.
Yeah. Well, man, there's tons of really good tips and advice going on in the stream of this live right now. Like Frank said, look, one thing he likes to do is at the start of the new year is to catch up with existing clients, check up with them, which is kind of what you were talking about, Nick, right? Mm-hmm. Talking about upgraded services. Richard said, are you I'm not sure what he means. Am I on the prune juice? What does he mean there?
I don't know.
No, Richard, I don't drink prune juice. Do I look like I'm losing weight? It's because I'm on the F45 kick your butt workout schedule. That's what the juice I'm drinking.
Richard, Tom hasn't told anybody this, but he's training for the SEALs. He's training for the SEALs.
Yeah, right. Look, Jeff said, look, check back on your business pitch. I thought this was a great tip. Check back on your business pitches you made during the year. If they didn't become a customer, things might have changed and they forgot what you can offer. Also a good chance to review like how you're making the offers, right? Are they good offers? Are they like, is there something you can change there? I saw Dorn was asking like if people send holiday gift cards to their existing clients. And John said
we do that.
Sends cards to every customer. So we do that as well. One thing that I would recommend that you guys do too, John and Dorn, and Nick and I actually got this from Brian Kurtz, who we had on the live show before, and I've had on the podcast. But Brian has a thing called Christmas cards in July. So we still send stuff out at the holidays. Like we always send stuff out at the holidays. But we also pick a time that's not the holidays and send something to the people we do business with. Because a lot of times in the holidays, everybody's doing that. It can kind of get lost in the shuffle, right? So having a separate time when nobody else is sending things and we send out some special stuff, like we've noticed we get a little more traction with that, right? So we've done that before. So I recommend that you do that. And then check out Brian's book, Over Deliver, where he talks about Christmas cards in July. It's really awesome.
Yeah, I love that book. That book is so good. It's like just such a good history about marketing or direct response marketing, and he's got so much good information. When I was reading that, it hit on so many things that I was like feeling and experiencing at that very moment. It's just one of those books, very relevant.
Yeah, it's a great book. And Brian is he's a super nice guy who really, really practices what he teaches, right? Which is really good. Let's see. I'm looking through our comments here. Somebody said, "Are there any Funko Pops in the Shark box?" Ooh, Funko Pops. That would have been good to include in the little bobbleheads of us, Nick. You're like,
I don't even know what a Funko Pop is.
You don't know what a Funko Pop is? They're like it's like you should look at them. They're super popular. You see them in a ton of stores. They're like all little like cartoony kind of characters. You can get like all the Marvel characters, Funko Pops.
Yeah.
They are not in the Shark box, which, by the way, I got my Shark box the other day. And first of all, it was bigger than I expected it was going to be. And all the stuff in there, the treasure chest, it looks great. I was going to wear one of the, anyway, doesn't matter. But speaking of the Offline Sharks treasure chests, we need to give one of them away because every week we like to celebrate. Yes, we like to celebrate our member of the week, where we pick someone out from our community that has done a fantastic job. And this week, we have an awesome member of there is the treasure chest. Mine's all the way in the other room. I can't go get it. But yeah, looks great. Really, really, really excited to finally see it. That thing has taken us so long. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Supply chain issues, folks. Supply chain issues. They're real.
Oh my God. Well, yeah. Well, we did have supply chain issues. Remember, we were like, yeah, we're good at this. And they were like, oh, we can't get any of that stuff. We're like, oh my God. Anyway, our member of the week this week, Mr. Oliver Laka. Congratulations, Oliver. You have an Offline Sharks treasure chest coming to you. The team will reach out to get your info. We gave Oliver member of the week for the beast of the week and prospecting and hitting the trifecta. But, if you want to be member of the week, just be a good steward of our community. Get in there, participate, hang out. Awesome work. So congratulations, Oliver.
I saw somebody make a comment about they were all upset because they got member of the week, I don't know, 3 months ago, way before we actually had the treasure chest going on, and they were all upset. But hey, you can be member of the week every week. I mean, it's unlikely that you get it every week, but you can get it again and again. And the way that you do it is just by being a good member of our community, somebody out there that's just helping other members, sharing your wins. You're building your own business, but you're talking about it so other people can learn from your wins, from your successes. And that's why you see a lot of people in our community that, they get member of the week regularly because they're just very active. They're very active, and we want to reward people that are helping everybody in this community. It's one of the reasons why we have such an awesome community. It's, in fact, probably the reason we have such an awesome community is because all of you who are in it are so awesome.
Yeah.
So just our way of giving back.
Cool. I'm looking through the comments here. This is pretty funny. Jess said, was the coaching program taught by Nick Saban? That must be Nick. Nick probably has no idea who Nick Saban is. You don't, do you, Nick?
Nick Saban? No.
So no, I knew you wouldn't know. Nick Saban is the head coach at Alabama. He's the one of the all-time greatest college football coaches of all time.
No, the coaching was done by Nick Ponte. That's why we're doing so good.
One thing that we haven't talked about, Nick, and we should do this. We should go ahead and put a link up there. We mentioned a couple of times the Remote Millionaires Partner Program, and we've been doing some things with that, bringing in some new partners over the past few weeks, which has been really awesome to see. I talked to a few of them last week, some amazing people we have in the group, people that are getting their agencies off the ground, some people that already have established agencies, clients, some people that own entirely different businesses but are looking to build a digital agency. So a lot of smart people. And we have what a little video and training on that, right? That we have a link to if people want to check it out and see what it's about.
Yeah, I shot a short 15-minute video. If you haven't seen it yet, Dorn, I appreciate the feedback there. He says, if you aren't in the Remote Millionaire Partnership Program, you are missing out. And I feel like you are missing out too. But, you know, I know it's not for everybody. But if you've been a part of our community for any length of time, you know that Tom and I and the rest of our team, we try to do our very best to over-deliver as much as we possibly can. And I think that the Remote Millionaire Partnership Program is the area where we have probably over-delivered the most we have ever over-delivered ever. So, yeah, go to that link, you know, offlinesharks.com/strategy call. And what I would encourage you to do is, you know, just go check out the video, 10 minutes. You can watch it in 2x speed, whatever. But think ahead, you know, think ahead for the year that's up ahead. Because like I mentioned earlier, where was I a year ago? I was in this place where I needed to grow my business in a number of ways that wasn't very clear to me. And I had somebody that was further ahead than me show me and point out some of the areas where I could grow and then show me how to do it. And so now here I am a year later. I'm very glad that I made those decisions. I'm very glad that I reinvested some of that money that I would normally pay in taxes back into my business to help my business go from, you know, instead of, let's just say your business makes $50,000 this year, right? You take a little bit of that money and invest it back into the business. That could be the thing that takes it to $100,000, right? Sometimes it's not about just how much money you can keep. You know, I know that as human beings, sometimes we just get stuck in this thought process of being like, this is all mine. I can't. I'm not going to be able to give any of this away. This is mine. I was babysitting my nephew, and like we were eating lunch, and I tried to steal one of his French fries from Chick-fil-A, and he was like, "No." And I feel like that, right? And I've been there. But you know, I would encourage you to think about, you know, if you can find a real source of information that you could have access to that could really help you move the needle next year coming up ahead. I mean, this could be something for you. So go ahead and check it out. offlinesharks.com/strategy call. Would love to work with people a little more closely in the year coming.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing that will break you of the thinking everything is yours is having kids, Nick. That will get that away from you.
Whoa.
Yeah. Don't let Sloan hear is what you're saying.
Christ, Tom, what are you doing to me?
Oh, that's so funny. So, you know, another thing that I've done, you know, throughout this past year or two to kind of break that, because you're talking about that feeling of thinking that, you know, there's not enough, right? The scarcity mindset, which I think is so real for a lot of people. A couple of things I do to break myself out of that is like, one of the small things is whenever I would go to the grocery store and the little thing would pop up and say, would you like to make a donation? I would just always make a donation for $1. Or if I'm at the store, like during the holidays, and sometimes they have those brown bags of groceries to help needy families and stuff, like no matter how much money I had, like if I only had $1, I would just do $1 just so I got used to knowing that spending that $1 wasn't the end of the world, right? Then I would slowly up it to 5 to 10. And I started to notice that like, oh, when I spent that money, like it wasn't like crazy, right? And I didn't have a lot of money at the time. Things were really tight, but it helped to kind of break me of that scarcity mindset, like just starting to do that, right? Because people always talk about giving, but like I would look at my paychecks or whatever money I was generating from, especially at the beginning of my agency, when I'm just generating money to pay the bills, right? It's like, there's no extra money to donate. Like I would love to donate, but there's no extra. Like I need it all to pay the bills. And just doing that little thing of $1 here, $5 there was able to get me in that cycle. Right.
So able to get you in the cycle of like, just not being so scarce in the mindset of it. So it actually translated into being able to give up more money to reinvest in yourself too. Not just to like donate, but
yeah. Well, and then I noticed like the more I gave, like all of a sudden, like,
The more you got.
like things were happening, right? Like
Yeah.
deals were closing. Like, I don't know. It changed the way, I think it shifted the way subconsciously, it helped me shift kind of the way that I looked at money and was thinking about money. And because when you're in that, when, you know, for me, when I was in this position of like, I got to have money to pay the bills and I don't know how I'm going to do this. And I'm really scared. And like, that is a very hard emotional state to close deals from and to make progress, right? You have to, like, for me, I had to do something to kind of start to break out of that and get a little better sense of what was going on.
You just gave me a good idea for like a contest.
Oh,
like a kind of like a charity contest, something that we could do. I'm gonna call you later and we'll talk about it. But
okay, cool. Richard said my drink looked like prune juice, but this is Gold Peak Real Brewed Iced Tea.
that's chewing tobacco. He's from Oklahoma.
I am from Oklahoma. That's true. Let's see. I'm gonna look through some other comments here, and then we do need to give away some Cash App money.
Let's do it. Best part of the live stream.
Let's see. Let me see. I'm looking at. Doran says my wife likes to say, "Money is mine. Your money is ours." My wife says, "Tom, I don't tell you how much money to make. You don't tell me how much money to spend." And I always say, "Yes, dear." Awesome.
Yes.
Well, look, there's lots of great comments in here about tips and things for holiday season, making it through. I hope you guys got some value from some of the tips we dropped and things like that. But we do every episode like to give away some Cash App money, and we didn't really let's do a question. Like, we haven't done a question in a long time, Nick. So I'm gonna let Nick pull up a question, and while he's doing that, we'll play the money song.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, ching, bling, bling, got the chatter. You ain't talking money, then you're talking no matter.
I on the thing, and there's no Cash App questions.
There's no questions here. We'll have to come up with one on the fly.
Oh, let's see. Let's do. Hold on. Let me think.
Is there a dad joke? Patches? Kevin? Dollar?
No, it's like, no, we're not going to do any of those easy ones.
No easy ones. Only difficult ones. I have a difficult one. I mean, semi-difficult.
Okay.
Does everybody know how the Cash App game works? Do we all know? First person that gets the correct answer gets some Cash App money. Just for fun. Just for sport. Okay, here's a question. Question is, what year did we start Offline Sharks? It's a good question, right? It's not.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a good one.
how long have we been doing this? How long have we been doing this, everybody? I'm sure some of you have been here since the beginning too.
And I see tons of. I think Jacqueline got it. First one.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Wow.
2016.
2016. Man, we were just a couple of young whippersnappers back then.
Just a couple poor country boys trying to make our way in the big scary city.
Yep.
Look at us now.
It's true. It's actually, I think about that time, right? I was living in this like yellow house. I was renting out like the upstairs. Tom and I both were living. I mean, Hawaii, the rent in Hawaii is just stupid. It's actually not as expensive as New York, but it's also stupid. But we both had we were living in a situation where my house, like the downstairs was rented out to somebody else, right? And you too, you had the upstairs rented to somebody else in your house.
Yep.
And I remember we were just, doing our thing, getting clients and, going to B&I and getting coffee regularly and all that stuff. And we decided to do that like take what we were doing, our audit that we were doing for our clients, and put it out there and see if anybody wanted to buy that strategy. And that's what happened. We put it out there and we got, man, how many people bought that thing, Tom? A couple thousand.
Yeah, a couple thousand.
Couple thousand people bought that thing. And that was how it started. The bromance that's how it started right there.
Yeah. The bromance. And then, we started the Facebook group, and yeah, it's been crazy. We put a lot of work in those early years. Like, I remember that one year when I was like, hey, well, let's take tomorrow off. And you were like, why? And I was like, dude, it's Christmas.
We're gonna do that again this year.
I was like,
it's the same thing every year. We don't take
my
Christmas.
kids actually want me to
holidays.
hang out with them for a little bit tomorrow.
And I'm like, no, that's not allowed.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you just need to have that motivator, and that's me. I'm a motivator.
Oh yeah, so funny. Well, awesome. Look, this has been a great live. We do have one more thing. So every week, we have that shout out post. I didn't post the link this week. But if you went there and left a comment, we're going to give away some Cash App money to somebody who left comments. Our winners for that are John C. Marks and Michael Howard. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to Jacqueline for getting the Cash App question. If you guys post your Cash App tag, or somebody from our team will reach out to you to get that. Congratulations to Oliver for Member of the Week. Congratulations to all the shout outs at the beginning of the show. Congratulations to you guys for just hanging out with us for an hour. We're going to be here next Friday, same shark time, same shark channel. We will not be here next Friday, because next Friday is the day after Thanksgiving. So we will not be having a live show next Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. So we're not going to see you for 2 weeks. So have a happy, safe Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll see you in the Facebook group. Our support desk is here, offlinesharks.com/support if you need anything. And we'll see you. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Go to that link, offlinesharks.com/strategy call. Check it out. Remote minute.
You've been listening to the Sharks Live Show, your weekly marketing jam session. Always bringing you the latest strategies and tactics to build your remote business from anywhere in the world. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this stream. You can stay up to date throughout the week with Nick's YouTube videos at nickponte.com/YouTube and Tom's podcast at tomgaddis.com. We'll be back here next Friday for another Sharks Live Show. Until then, aloha.